In this section of the course, we're going to take a look at the design process. This is the creative process that you're going to take whether you're working with a client or you're working on a personal project. This video is going to be the overview of these UI UX design steps, and in the rest of the videos in this section, we're going to cover useful tools to help you with that. So the first step is meeting with the client or the project start. And this step, you want to learn as much about the project as you can and understand the problem that you're there to solve. You want to ask the client as many questions as you can so that you can develop a creative brief. And this is just a brief that tells all about the project, the client, the goals, and the creative direction. You can organize this however you'd like. I usually use Milanote, and we'll cover that in a separate lesson in this course. But you can use Word if you would like. However you want to do this, you want to get as much information from the client as you can so you have a good foundation to start the project on. Moving on, the next step is research, and you want to do as much research as you can here. You want to figure out who your users are. You want to learn about the client, about their company, as much as you can, because you can't solve a problem without having to do research for the answers. You have to know the information so you can get the answers. And through this process, you can create some personas. I would recommend a user persona. Basically, this is an example of the user. You can have more than one of these. It tells about their goals and needs and their ideal experience. So that way you can design the best product for them. The next step is creative planning, and this is where you want to analyze the research that you did. You want to take a look at the creative brief and start to get some ideas and write them down and jot little notes here and there. If you've ever seen a design agency, they have these walls with post-it notes and sketches everywhere on whiteboards. I have a great program that simulates that, actually. If you don't want to do this on paper, we're going to go over that in a future lesson. Then after that, we're going to move into sketching and wireframes, and this you can do on paper, you can do it in a certain tool online. There's plenty of wireframe tools out there, but basically you want to keep this loose. This is not the final design. This is just the blueprint to test the design out. And then finally, the design step, what everyone wants to get into. So it's important to make sure you go through all of those steps to get to this one, because you don't want to just jump in and design. All of that is important in UI UX design. And so this step, you just start with whatever program you're going to use. In this course, we're going to learn Adobe XD. So that's what we would start designing and taking our wireframes into a full finished design. So real quick, this lesson was catered more towards the client work and the client focus. But if you don't have any clients and you're just wanting to practice, it's important that you take all these steps to make sure that you are the best UI UX designer you can be and that you're producing the best designs that you can. So finally, I want to follow that up with some tips with working with clients. I didn't include this in any of these steps, but revisions are a crucial part of working with clients. Your client wants to know what they're paying for, so you want to keep them updated. Now, how you do that is up to you. I usually keep them updated between after I sketch, after I create wireframes, and then on the final design, we have a certain amount of revisions. So that brings me to the next point. The number of revisions is set between you and the client. How many ever you want to do, that's fine. So if you present them a finished design and they say, oh, let's change this, that would be one revision. And you would want to create a fallback if you go over those revisions. So how much are you going to charge for each extra revision? And so the importance of this is to make a contract. And this helps everyone. It helps the client and you. Make sure that you're covered and that the client is covered and that everyone is agreed on exactly what's going to happen here. And that also brings me to one final point is you might want to consider, especially when you're working remotely, charging a fee up front. For me personally, I'll either do 25 or 50% based on the project. And that just makes sure if this remote client of mine just disappears, which has happened many times, I am covered for the work I have done. And it's unfortunate if it happens, but it does happen. So just you might want to consider that as well. So that is it for the design process and all of the steps and tips I have for you guys. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. As always, have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.